There's a truth most people never learn. A quiet law that governs every rise, every victory, every miracle. The impatient never find it. The restless never touch it. And the ones who chase too hard lose it. Because success isn't built in noise. It's carved in silence, grain by grain, day by day, by those who understand two things the world has forgotten: time and patience. And today, you'll learn what those words really mean. But before we begin, if you've ever felt behind or doubted your path, then listen closely till the end. Because this story isn't about power or talent. It's about becoming unshakable. Let's begin. Kiran was a simple craftsman, a maker of bowls and bells in a dusty riverside town. Every morning, before the sun touched the rooftops, he lit a small lamp beside his bench, rolled up his sleeves, and began to shape metal with bare hands. His workshop smelled of clay, smoke, and rain. The tools were old, the roof leaked, and his dreams, far bigger than his little room, lay quietly inside him, waiting. He wanted his work to travel beyond his village. He wanted people to know his name, to hold something he made and feel wonder. But life didn't move the way he hoped. Each week, he took his crafts to the marketplace. Rows of stalls, each filled with colors, voices, and the smell of spice. And every week, he returned with the same silence in his pocket. No one bought his work. No one noticed. He'd watch other merchants counting coins, laughing, selling everything they touched. And inside him grew a whisper. Maybe I'm not meant for more. At night, Kiran sat by his unfinished pieces, staring at the tiny flame on his lamp as if it held the answers. Maybe I'm just wasting time, he muttered. And yet, something in him, stubborn, fragile, refused to die. Days passed. Months blurred. Then one evening, after another long, silent market day, Kiran walked to the edge of the river outside town. The sky was violet. The air smelled of dust and jasmine. He threw a small stone into the water and watched the ripples vanish into stillness. How long? He whispered. Must a man wait before his effort means something? From the shadows, an old voice replied. Until he stops counting the ripples. Kiran turned. An old monk sat nearby, washing his hands in the current. His robe faded like old parchment, his eyes calm as dusk. Kiran bowed quickly. I didn't see you there, master. The monk smiled. That's because you were looking only at the water. Kiran hesitated. I've been working for years, he said. But my hands bring me nothing. My heart grows tired. The monk listened, then reached into the river and pulled out a pebble. Do you see this stone? It's been here longer than you've been alive. Every wave that passes smooths its edges, though it doesn't move an inch. Time and patience are sculptors, Kiran. They shape everything, including you. Kiran frowned. But how long must I wait? The monk placed the pebble in his palm. As long as it takes for you to stop asking. Then he stood, bowed slightly, and walked away along the river path, disappearing into the fog. That night, Kiran couldn't sleep. His mind replayed the monk's words like echoes in a temple. Time and patience. Two simple things. But to a man who spent his life rushing for proof, they felt impossible. Still, something inside him shifted. The next morning, he returned to his bench, not with hunger for quick results, but with quiet resolve. He decided to make one bowl. Not for sale, not for praise, just for mastery. He melted the metal. He shaped it slowly. Every hammer strike was steady, deliberate, a rhythm between breath and silence. Days became weeks. The bowl changed colors as he refined it, gold to amber, amber to bronze. He'd restart whenever it cracked. He'd redo the curve if it felt even slightly wrong. People mocked him. Neighbors said, "You're wasting time on one piece." But Kiran kept going. And something strange began to happen. He stopped worrying about money. He stopped counting hours. He stopped rushing to finish. Instead, he started listening to the whisper of metal cooling, to the hum of his own breath, to the rhythm of his heart aligning with the work. For the first time in his life, he wasn't chasing success. He was becoming it. Months later, when the bowl was finished, he placed it on his table and just stared. It wasn't perfect, but it was alive. Every imperfection told a story of endurance. Every scar shimmered with quiet dignity. He smiled for the first time in a long while. And then he did something unexpected. He buried the bowl near the river where he met the monk. Not out of loss, but gratitude. Because Kiran had realized something the world rarely understands. You cannot hold both time and impatience in the same hand. One will always slip away. Years passed. Kiran kept working, slower now, wiser. His craft evolved. People began to notice. His bowls reached markets far beyond his town. Some said his creations had a warmth no other craftsman could replicate. When asked his secret, Kiran would simply smile and say, "I learned how to wait." But let's pause here, because this isn't just Kiran's story. It's the story of every person who ever felt unseen while giving their best. You, too, have your bowl, your dream, your craft, your goal. And maybe right now, it feels like the world doesn't care. Maybe you've given years and have nothing to show. Maybe you're on the edge of quitting. But remember this: nature moves on a timetable you cannot rush. The seed doesn't bloom the day it's planted. The sun doesn't rise just because you demand it. And you are no different. Your growth is happening in silence, below the surface, in places no one sees. And that's where it matters most. Patience isn't waiting passively. It's the art of continuing, even when nothing moves. Science tells us that habits reshape the brain through repetition. Neuroscience calls it neuroplasticity. Philosophers call it discipline. But the ancients, they had a simpler name. They called it faith in time. Because time, when used wisely, becomes a multiplier. Each hour compounds like interest. Each effort, no matter how small, layers on the next, until one day, the invisible becomes undeniable. Kiran didn't become great because he chased success. He became great because he outlasted his doubt. That's the real secret. Patience builds power. Time sharpens it. They work together, one in silence, the other in motion, until what you were becomes unrecognizable. So when life feels still, when progress feels invisible, when you're working and no one applauds, remember, that's the test. That's the forge where legends are made. If you listen closely, every no, every failure, every quiet day is whispering the same lesson the monk gave Kiran. Stop counting the ripples. Keep your hand steady and trust the river. Because the moment you do, time stops being your enemy and becomes your greatest ally. So maybe the real treasure isn't success at all. Maybe it's the person you become while waiting for it. Kiran learned that mastery isn't built in a moment. It's built in the unseen hours, when no one's watching, no one's clapping, and the only sound is your breath against your purpose. And if you can stay there, if you can keep shaping your craft, even when the world is silent, then when your time finally arrives, you'll be ready for it. Because the truth is simple. Time rewards those who respect it. Patience crowns those who endure it. If this story moved you, subscribe for more, and tell me in the comments, what's the one thing in your life right now that's testing your patience? Because maybe that's exactly where your transformation is waiting.